Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Max's Perspective podcast. Today, we're going to try something a little bit different, something I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is I'm going to tell you a scary story. Okay, it's very scary, so if you do not like scary stories, I recommend you stop listening now. But if you are interested, then keep listening and listen carefully because it's got some details and it's scary. It's also, I believe, a true story. I was told this story when I was very young. I've remembered it ever since. All right, the story is about a youngish girl who lived in a small town by herself with her dog. Just her and her dog in a small house, sort of by itself. No close neighbors, in a small road. And her dog was a big German Shepherd. You guys know German Shepherds, right? Kind of like those police dogs. Very, very strong, very good dogs for safety. So she had a really nice big German Shepherd dog, and the small town, it wasn't very dangerous. It was considered a safe place. People didn't really lock their doors or anything. There was no crime. However, one night before bed, she's watching TV, and on the news, it tells everyone that a prisoner has recently escaped from prison, and the place is actually quite close to where she lives. And the news tells everybody, like, be careful because this prisoner's really quite dangerous, and he was in prison for some really bad things. So the girl's a little bit scared by this, so she goes around the house. Her dog loyally follows her. And she just checks all the doors and all the windows and makes sure everything's locked. At this time, she also notices that it started to rain quite hard and a bit windy. So now there's a few strange noises. She can hear the rain on the roof against the windows a bit. So she's pretty scared with this news and this weather. So she decides the best thing to do is to just go to bed and just sleep through it. So she goes to the bathroom and does her teeth, and she comes back to her bedroom and gets into bed. And one thing that makes her feel safe is that her dog always sleeps under her bed, and she can even put her hand down, and the dog will sort of like lick her hand and touch it with its nose, and she knows the dog's there and she feels safe. So she does this, and sure enough, the dog licks her hand and she feels good. So, and actually she falls asleep quite quickly. The sound of the rain and it's quite cold, so she falls asleep quickly and she's having a good sleep. But then she suddenly wakes up because she hears a sound. The sound is like a drip, drip, drip sound. It's coming from somewhere in the house. But she notices it's still raining a bit, so it's normal to hear the sound. Maybe it's coming from outside or somewhere in the house. And she doesn't worry about it. She puts her hand down, and her dog kind of licks it and nudges it with its nose, and she feels safe. And again, she falls back asleep. But not for long, because she wakes up again because she can still hear that drip, drip, drip sound. And it's kind of still raining a little bit, but it's almost stopped. Just everything's sort of wet. So it's still possible that things are dripping. Maybe it's dripping from the roof outside, or there's a leak in the roof. She just thinks, okay, that's normal. She puts her hand down. The dog loyally licks her hand, and she feels good, and she falls asleep. And she wakes up again, very early in the morning, just a little bit light, starting to get a little bit light, and she realizes there's still a drip, drip, drip sound. And this time, there's no rain. The sky's cleared up. So she's like, what is this? And she goes through, she thinks it's coming from the bathroom. She goes through to the bathroom, and when she opens the door to the bathroom, she sees the most horrible thing ever. And that is her poor dog has been killed and hung on the shower, and there's blood dripping from its body onto the shower floor, going drip, drip, drip. She screams, and she suddenly realizes, how long has the dog been there? And she runs through to her room, looks under the bed, and sees nothing there except a note. And on that note, she grabs it and reads it, and it says, I can lick too. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. And that was super scary. I feel scared just telling it. And questions for today. There are no questions. I just want to know, what did you think of that story? And do you know any horror stories or scary stories? Maybe you can give me the name of them and I can look them up on the internet so I can tell them to you. That would be wonderful. I know in Taiwan, Taiwanese people love horror stories. I've realized lots of people like to go, whenever there's a horror story, horror movie, in the movies, I know lots of students go to watch them. I kind of feel like horror stories and horror movies are quite popular in Taiwan. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know. Okay. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Hope that wasn't too scary. Bye-bye.